Hi, happy 2019. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. Took a break to enjoy the holidays with my family. That's one thing when you are your own boss, you can do that. Last year I took a forced break because I got the flu. But I also realized that when I worked outside the home, that I always took jobs where before I started working, I made it clear that I didn't work over the holidays. So since I'm my own boss, I also make it clear to myself I don't work over the holidays. So I'm jumping right back in to start off 2019 with our new occasions catalog. So the card I'm going to show you today is going to use the stamp set and the dies that are going to be part of my free online class. So let me flip to that because now since the catalog is live, I can show you the insides. I do have one card posted that already uses this. So I'm going to use the Floral Romance Suite. It's lovely. It's got lots of pretty pieces to it. So here's some of the samples. If you don't have a catalog, you can look at it online now. It is online. Here's the stamp set. It does come with dies. We're going to use the embossing folder today, which is beautiful. We're going to use the seals, and I think that's it on today's card. The stamp set, the seals, and the dies. But let me show you the card if you've missed the card that's already posted. This is it. And on this one I didn't use the stamps. I did use a stamp, but it's not part of the one that's in the stamp. This one uses the beautiful paper. It is stunning paper. You will definitely want the paper. It uses the ribbon, which is also very, very pretty, and then it does use the dies. And look at how beautiful these dies are. Are those not pretty? So this video is up. If you've not caught it, just run over it. This card looks like it's super intricate and it looks like it takes time, but it doesn't. The dies do all the work and they run through super easy. So it's really just mounting together the dies that you have rolled through. So this is, if you buy the dies and the stamps and a couple of ink pads, then you will get the supplies to make 3 cards to go along with my free online class this month. So you need to be on my email list to get those details. You need to be in the US. So new occasions catalog. They are slow going out because, you know, these days if you're in the US, Amazon takes precedence over all other mail. So unfortunately, if we're not Amazon, then the bulk mail kind of gets left behind. But I know that everybody has been getting them, so they're coming. So I based my colors off of wanting to use the Brusho to color in my stuff. So this is Mossy Meadow. It also matches the twine that I'm going to use. And I think that I pulled this twine. You know, I have slept since I made this card. I did it for my girls in my downline that came over to stamp in mid-December. So it's been a minute and the stuff's been in the bucket. This may be a camp project in February. If you're one of my local customers, it's definitely not a project for January, but this one is. So we're going to use this one in January. It's also not one of the ones that you would do in the online classes. They're always a surprise. But if you do the online class, you will get some of the paper, you'll get some of the seals, you'll get some of the ribbon. So you'll get all of the fun stuff. So this is some of the leaves. I like them because most of you know my husband is from Australia and we lived there. These look like gumnut leaves to me, eucalyptus leaves. So I have a soft spot for those. I decorate a lot with those. When we take down the Christmas decorations tomorrow, our tree's down. But when we take down the bulk of them, Australia Day is in January. So the in-between Christmas and Valentine, I usually decorate with Australia decorations. Things that we've brought back from over there. So the eucalyptus and the gum nuts will make a prominent place in our home. So this is the focal image of this stamp set. You can tell it's beautiful. And how much fun is this to color? So I'm going to just stamp it. I have Memento. I'm just going to ink it up. All of the stamps are now cling if they're not photopolymer. So if they're red rubber, they're cling mount. And on this video, because this card takes a little bit longer, I'm not going to show you the cling mount system. It's really not a whole lot different, but there are videos from Stampin' Up, and I will show you when I get to a card one day that doesn't take as long. Make sure I've got enough ink on this. And then this has a die. So I've just cut the paper so it's the right size for my stamp. But the cling stamps, they will not fall off your block. You will need a take your pick tool, which I know you saw me use a lot. They are all downstairs. I have a couple of them, but they're downstairs because of the shoebox swap. But you'll need one of those to take these off because they don't come off. See, I'm pulling and they don't come off. The take your pick tool has a little spatula tip and you just slide it right under there and then you pull them off. So this month I am offering, if you spend $100, that will get you 2 sale-a-bration items, and it will also get you from me a free take your pick tool to help you get all of your new stamps off. So from here going forward, all red rubber in the occasions is this, and then starting in the annual catalog, it will be all of our stamps, except if you're in the US, the background stamps will continue to be offered in wood if you want wood, but there won't be any more wood options. And eventually I will get all that on my website. We found that out in Orlando. You know, life has just been a complete, it's been so busy ever since we went on vacation. I feel like it's just been a whirlwind and a half. So I kept thinking of all the stuff I should put on my website, and it just didn't happen. So this is the die, and I love these dies that do the holes in between as well. I'm going to stick this on here. It just takes one pass through. I have makeup on today and I'm dressed. I have jewelry and I thought I should be on camera. But this card takes just a tad bit longer because of the coloring in. So I'm just going to do the card for you and be done. But I do have my Colts shirt on because the Colts made the playoffs. We went from being supposed to be the worst team in the NFL to not. Or I could have worn my Pacers shirt because the Pacers played tonight, and we have the hottest NBA team and the hottest NFL team. So, you know what, that doesn't always happen. But so there's the die, and you can see it poked out. Let me put it here on the green. It pokes out the inside as well. I like when they do that because it, you know, if you're going to cut this by hand, sometimes you can skip and not buy the dies. But on this you won't because it gives you these dies, and look, those are beautiful. But you would also, if you're hand cutting, you would never fussy cut that out. So have that. And then this is the new folder that comes as part of this suite, and it's one of the deep ones. Look how beautiful that is. That is super, super pretty. So for this, you just need, take those 2 away. You just need 1 plate. Pop my big shot back up here. I remember when I did the card last time, I was like, which direction do I want it to go? Because you can have it go see your lace, it's a lace. You want it to go this way or this way. And then when we made it that night at class, people chose different directions, and then when you run it through, it's which side's up, which side's down. It's beautiful, all directions and both ways up and down. And then today at the shoebox swap, one of my girls that came, we cut hers out. So the scallops were cut. So she cut along here, and I will show you her card one day in one of the videos. So see how pretty this is? So this is upside down, and this is right side up. No, is that right? I don't know. No, this is right side up. And you can tell if you look closely because one way looks more lacy than the other. And you can also tell when you roll through the way that Stampin' Up! Deemed it to be right side up. Because the first time I made it, I wasn't sure, and I had to roll another piece through to make sure. So then this is just from the annual catalog, and this is the burlap ribbon. So I'm just going to tie this. It goes back to one of my more popular videos from Christmas, the one that had the snowflake. This is the exact same thing I did, if I can remember how to tie a knot. Just tie a knot, Sherry. I don't want a bow. So you just tie a simple knot because I don't want this card to be too much because it's going to have a lot of other elements. So I'm just going to tie a bow here. Oh, and you know what? All of my scissors are downstairs. Here, I've got some big old orange handled scissors over here. So That's what happens. You know, I thought, oh, well, I will just video a couple things because I have a bunch of projects up here. But then all of my Big Shot was downstairs. My cleaning stuff's downstairs. Obviously, my scissors downstairs. Didn't think about that. Now, in a minute, I'm going to have to take all of this stuff back downstairs. And tonight when the girls come, invariably, I will leave something up here. So then I'm just going to take this. And first, I'm going to just tie it around just to secure it in place. Maybe. I guess I lost my ability to tie over Christmas. You take a couple weeks off and you just lose everything. I'll lay it down, that will help. So first I'm just going to tie it on here. And then I'm just going to tie just a regular bow. Nothing fancy. This card has not a lot going on, but it's not a hashtag simple stamping card. And because it's twine, just one knot. You don't have to double knot it or anything. That'll hold it. So here's my little bow. And then I'm going to paint this. This is going to be my background piece, so I'm just going to use it now for this. The way I'm going to paint it is kind of fun. Two of our shimmer paints did carry over from the holiday catalog. So the Frost White and I think the Champagne. It's the color that looks like the copper, and the gold did not. So it's the other one of those. So I'm going to use this for paint. This is a Wink of Stella that is empty. But when you put the lid back on, it keeps the tip from drying up hard, because this is what we used in December to clean off my thing, and you can see it dries rock solid. So if you just use a paintbrush and don't have the lid, then the paintbrush would dry solid. But because the lid is on my empty Wink of Stella, then that keeps it from drying up. So this is also my block. It's just one of our big blocks, and I use one. I used to clean it all the time, but that was kind of silly because then I was forever writing the names back of my Brusho. Now I just leave it, and it makes a great palette. So I'm going to put some moss green on here. These are the Brusho. I just keep a little push pin in them. So I need some moss green, which always does not look like green when you poke it out. That's part of the reason that I just took the Sharpie and wrote the names on here, because the green does not look green. It looks just like the yellow. I'm also going to use some yellow, which I just need a tad bit of it. And then the blue, which it has a name and not just blue, but I just need a little bit of it. And then you take your paint and you shake it up. And then you're just going to use the paint that is in the lid. That will keep everything in there from not getting dirty. So you're just going to dab this in here, and then you're going to pick up a tiny bit of the shimmer paint. And it's beautiful. So this is the blue. And just kind of paint with it until the paint comes off, because then it changes the shading for you. So some of it will be bluer, some of it will be greener, and with the green, because of the way that Brusho is, some of it will be brown, or some of it will be a little bit more yellow. So that's the way but with the blue, it's just as the Brusho wears out, then my blue just gets to be a little bit less blue. So it does a little bit of shading. If you were doing this at home, you could paint them and then run them through the Big Shot. You would just want to make sure that it's dry, because if you paint this and it's not all the way dry, it doesn't take a super long time. But if you run it through the Big Shot and it's not all the way dry, then all of this is just going to stick to the top of your plate. And you don't want all of your pretty painting to stick to the top of your plate, ruin your plate, and ruin your art. That's why I ran it through my Big Shot first. So you can see it gives a nice little bit of shading. So I'm just going to color all my flowers blue, but they'll all be a little bit different colors of blue. I'm keeping the centers empty because that's where I'm going to get the yellow. So this is a simple colored card, just the 3 colors. but with the shimmer and then the Brusho, there's a lot of shiny on my card. So 3 flowers, and then you just take this and kind of wipe it off. And you can see the lid has a little bit of blue in it. That's why I'm just using the lid for my palette. I'm gonna do my yellow next, and literally for it, I just need a tiny bit. So just pick up a little bit of the yellow with the end of that. But the nice thing is with the yellow, then when I switch to my green, I don't have to wipe it off. Because this green has yellow in it, so some of my leaves may look a little bit more yellow than others. The other thing when you're doing this is try, because the shimmer paint is opaque, try not to go over the top of your ink. Otherwise it will cover up some of your black, and you don't want that to happen. You want the ink to be nice and strong. Also do one leaf at a time. You know, sometimes when we color, we just we get a little lazy and we just kind of color whole areas of what we think is going to be one color at a time. But especially with this Brusho, you can see this one's going a little bit more green, because where I'm picking up the color, you don't want your leaf to look all camo and change colors of green right in the middle. So just do one leaf, and that way the colors of green will kind of stay the same. And I'm just doing it until the shimmer runs out for a leaf, as much as I can. So get enough on there of the shimmer paint. I'm so glad this carried over, because there's so many different things that you can do with it. And it's a great medium for the... See these ones that are on top, I'm just letting the end bit of this one I'm going to go over the top of the ink, but I hardly have any on there. And you can kind of tell, and you might not be able to tell, but in my lid, sometimes a little bit of the green stays, so then I can just pick that up and I don't have to add any more Brusho to it. And it's an artsy look, so you don't have to feel like you have to color in every single little portion of your leaves, because there's a lot of them. Or if you love to paint like I do, and you're doing it more as art as therapy one day, then feel free to color it all and make it all super beautiful. You could add some red to these tiny little flowers or leaves too. They don't all have to be green, especially if you were doing this in the fall. This because this stamp set is in the catalog now, I think our minds go more towards spring flowers, but if this could easily be done in the fall and color those more as berries. There we go. So then what you want to do is just take this again and get that so it's not gunky on there, because if you have a whole giant bit of shimmer on there, it might dry hard. And then I just take where you can kind of see where there's some Brusho in there, and just dab it out. And then this shimmer paint I'm going to keep just to be, it's one of my older ones, so there's not a ton left in it, and it's just going to be the one that I then keep. You can see it's got Brusho on the top. It's going to be my Brusho one. So then I can just keep these all together with the Brusho. And I know a lot of you always ask me where I get my pottery. Well, as it stands, I got some for Christmas. And then I got some to give for Christmas for my daughter. So I have some repeats. So I am going to be putting it for sale on my website of the repeats. So if you like it, be watching my website, because I will have some for sale. So now it's just mounting this together. So see, the card wasn't hard. It's just because it has a little bit of painting, and whenever we paint or color in, it takes a little bit longer. So just have a piece of vanilla just to kind of balance out the, I've done a little bit more adhesive because this is, there we go. And then I'm gonna put this on, and with this you just need to put adhesive on the back. Make sure it's gonna hold your ribbon on here. And it doesn't have to be super straight because this is, again, a floral romance card, so there, it doesn't have to be straight. Whimsy and some romance about it is perfectly fine. And then I always make sure when I do these that I know that there's going to be something holding it down here. So just make sure you have adhesive there. Mount that there. I like that when you do tone on tone to offset it with a neutral, especially the vanilla, it really makes that lace pattern pop off of there. And it's also, if you're running low on paper, a hint would be to stamp this on that vanilla piece and then run this through. Then you haven't wasted any paper at all. Just stick some adhesive there just because this, I think it's pretty much dry, but just say flipping it upside down. So there's that. And then these are also part of the suite. They are called Floral Romance Seals. They look like wax seals. If you're a child of the 80s like I am, then you probably had the little wax seal things that we used to make our own with, where you would melt it and then press your little thing in it. But these, they're bigger than what you might think when you see them in the catalog. And of course, all of my scissors are downstairs, but these are big enough. They are adhesive. So see, they have a big piece of adhesive on the back, so you don't even have to glue them. So just stick one of those right on there, and your card's done. So it, not the fastest card in the world because of the Brusho, but it doesn't take super, super long. So here's my other one. So again, this is the Floral Romance Suite with the dies and the stamps. And then the embossing folder and the seals are what are part of that. And then here again is the ribbon and some more of the dies and the paper. So it is a beautiful, beautiful, I think these are laying here. I can't remember, let me see if it says. Frosted flowers, like these, I think these may be part of the suite as well. I've shut my catalog. They're definitely in the Occasions catalog. I do think they are part of the suite as well. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this card, and I hope that you have a fabulous 2019, and check back over on my website to take my free class if you're interested, and be checking back because I have a ton of cards that I'm ready to show. I will be doing a Facebook Live next week. I'm back on schedule for that, and I'm going to try to find a day where I can do them and be consistent. Consistency is my word for 2019, so I'm going to try to be better at that. I've gotten good at being able to do the videos, and I'm going to try to be good at being consistent with doing them. So have a great day. Bye.